Welcome everyone back to another installment of the Rad Movement YouTube channel. It is I, Robbie Rapole, as always, and as sometimes, but this time exactly specifically, the chat. And we have a special guest, 23-year-old library clerk. So she helps feed the minds of the Chicago, Illinois generations, but also Chad found her comic in a local Chicago comic store. We'll tell this whole story shortly. And we were so inspired by this that we decided we needed to meet you and interview you. So Xena Lopez, thank you so much for being on. I can already tell you're a really brilliant human and a bright light in this world. So thanks for that. And now go ahead and get into your story.
I remember to clip the whole first part.
Right.
So I actually found your comic. We had gone to Chicago for my wife's gastric bypass surgery. They sent us to Chicago. I'm not going to get into that whole thing. The insurance sent us to Chicago instead of letting us do it here. But that's neither here nor there. I was at a rough time. My mom had just passed in September from COVID. And we decided to just walk around downtown, and we found this little comic shop. And I went in and I saw your book sitting on one of the shelves, like a local artist section. And I something just pulled me to the cover, and everything. I flipped through it. I saw that it had a lot to do with mental health. And so I decided to pick that one out and grab it. Read it later on that night, and it helped me a lot. It's just seeing what, sometimes you see somebody else going through something and it helps you get through your thing. But yeah, it helped me a lot because Chicago was rough. The first day we were in Chicago, we found out that our house caught fire.
I remember getting that
story. Oh yeah. My.
Yeah. So our very first day, we went to one of the little artisanal craft ice cream stores right by Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of us eating ice cream, and then 30 seconds later, we get a call that the house was on fire.
It's comical now.
Yeah, it was comical now. It was rough then.
Yeah.
But my anxiety was, I have OCD. My anxiety was going crazy up there. Like, you guys, I go into a Target there. When I think Target, Florida Target, it's spread out. It's a big building. I went to Target there. It's that, but upside. So it's like 3-story tall. Something about that set my anxiety off, and I'm gonna go outside. So I read the book, and it helped me a lot. And I actually messaged you afterwards saying thanks. And anything that helps push people to therapy is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think everybody could use therapy.
Absolutely. And then the cool thing is, essentially, therapy is just talking and listening. So, whatever therapy looks like to you, I think that's one of the hardest things to accept. For me, I was always like the male masculine. You can't go to therapy because you're strong, you're a man. So, I love this new generation of people that I'm watching. I have a 21-year-old son. So I get to watch this new generation of people have feelings and shit, regardless of gender, regardless of anything, they're allowed to have feelings and stuff like what you're doing is brilliant, because I didn't see that stuff as a kid. For me to get into some sort of motivational or personal development space was scary. And it took me years to face it. So to see youngsters doing it, I commend you. And I'd love to hear more about what brought you to it, because I've read the comic. I thought it was brilliant. It touched on so many parts of it, from the family stuff to the sitting and trying to meditate, and then just all the things, the fucking sugar babying, dude, that was a bomb that you dropped in the middle there. I was like, damn, son, because everything before that didn't really who you are, who the energy I get from you doesn't seem like, that's my career in life, that's my goals in life. It was definitely a means to an end. So it's interesting to see, and I'd like to hear more just about the whole thing. And I love that it seemed to have a happy ending, or at least some sort of what's the closure, I was like, oh cool, she's actually good. This is a help, this is a good thing. So it's cool to see the whole story come together. So yeah, let's hear about it.
So in 2019, you know, no, actually, was it 2019? Right. That was when COVID hit, right?
That's when it first
So,
opened its head.
so it was like fall semester, and I had already started therapy because I was sort of like in a dark place with work, and I had a lot of anxiety about like working with like my supervisor who didn't like me, and and also being in isolation for such a long time. Like I was like, I need therapy. So I just started doing that, and I was told by my told by my therapist to start journaling. And I was just so focused and kind of like in a zone with it, and getting really into the content of like my past life and how I started getting anxiety. I was like, I had nothing else to think about but that. And I had this drawing class for that fall semester. So I didn't know what else to work on besides the journaling and anxiety alone. So I started making like little comics about my journal entries. And I was kind of like mapping it out a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a comic, and I'm not going to share with anybody. It's just going to be for me. And it was really helping me. It started to really open my eyes to a lot of things I didn't notice before, like self-validation, and realizing just how hard it would be for a younger person of like 7, 12 years old, going through the things that I did. And I realized like, I can't just keep this for myself. This could honestly really help somebody else if they can relate to it. It would like, it would be much more shameful to keep this away from others rather than sharing it myself, because I am a completely different person now. And I feel so much better after reading it and working on it. I wondered if it would do the same for others. And if it did, I just want to help the world that way. It's such a lonely feeling to be that kid in the book. And for any other kids that were like that, I just want to help them.
It helped me.
Yeah, man. How did you become such a brilliant motherfucker? Like,
Therapy.
dude, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
And that's a brave thing to put your, innermost feelings out there for everybody to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was some tough shit, man. You talked about a lot of stuff that like triggered trauma inside of me, and I was like, wow. But it was also softening to the blow. It was like, oh wow. Because everybody knows that everybody's family is fucked up, right? But like when you see somebody else's flavor of fucked up, then it's like, oh wow. Okay, cool. That's just chocolate peanut butter instead of my mint chocolate chip. Like it's all ice cream. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to see somebody else's stuff and like, the reconciliations and just like the fucking struggle, man. The struggle is and I guess that's why it helped you so much in that moment.
Yeah, because I was really struggling there. I mean, I think I called you at one point from the hotel's gym.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to make. I texted you, hey, got a sec. Just I was asking about an episode that we did, because it was the one where we talked about my mom, and it was real glitchy, and I just wanted to talk to you about that and warn you it was going to be glitchy. Like, okay, just wanted to make sure. I thought you were having a breakdown. So, I'm okay for now. Once I sit and absorb everything, yeah, I might. But right now, I'm okay.
And like that's a totally normal thing, because like a lot of people call me when they're having a breakdown. Like I kind of think that's normal. Like, oh, you're fucking up. Cool, dog. I got you. And like I feel like that, that avenue that you've created definitely is a similar thing. Like, hey, lean on me. And like it's really cool that somebody from Florida who's in Chicago for this brief amount of time just happened to stumble upon your writings, like that were intended to give love and support, and like boom, like that's universal energy, and it's like that's it in its prime at its greatest. So like whatever manifestations you put on that, thank you for doing that, because it's definitely reaching people. Like I said, I wish I had the brilliance you have at your age, man, because you got something good that you're doing in this world. Keep pushing it. It's fucking rad.
And
Thank you.
something kept telling me to pick it up because I had walked by it 3 or 4 times,
Right.
picked it up, so okay, put it back down. But I kept coming back to it and finally said, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny. I was talking to like the other day about how I even got here. It's like I know that a lot of people have gone through like the same things. You know, it's not talked about, obviously. Because who would want to talk about it? It's so traumatizing and it hurts. But like this person told me, you're so mature after what like this happening to you. It's like, no, this happened to a lot of people, and people still aren't talking about it. But what really happened was I had these 2 really kind high school teachers, shout out to Mr. Ewald and Mr. Estep, but they saw like my talent in art, and they were like, you should apply to like these things because you're really great. And I'm like depressed, and I'm like, okay, sure. And that's kind of what led to some of my success in the art world. So like without them, I wouldn't really see exactly where I fit into the world. I'd probably still have like 4 jobs right now and going to community college, you know, which actually isn't so bad because it's like a thing that a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
But I think I found myself getting onto really nice opportunities because of them. And I don't know. I don't want anybody else to be like left astray. I can't change the world entirely, but if I can do one small thing, it's sharing like my own experiences.
Yeah.
You say you can't change the world, but there's a ripple effect. Like
Absolutely.
your comic impacted me, and I've shared it with him, and I've talked about it elsewhere.
And we get to share it with our audience, and
Yeah.
they get to share it with their friends. So, you know, like the minor action can really make a major impact.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. So where did you gain the courage from, like to push this out and to bring it to a local comic store? Because as an artist, it's really hard to like be like, okay, I'm gonna fucking make a comic and I'm gonna ask a local comic book store to carry it for me. So like, what was that part of it like? You know, is that the teachers believing in you as well, or like, you know, give us a little insight?
Definitely. I also kind of met with some like kind of hesitations, especially because of how sensitive the material is. Like me like legit talking about being a sugar baby made a lot of people very uncomfortable.
Right.
So like, I was like, I don't know if I should share it, but you know what? For all of those even who work in like a variety of like sex work, I mean, they don't have much representation either. So if I'm going to be the first to do it, why the hell not? You know?
Yeah.
Why not? I think people deserve a voice in many different forms. So if I could do it, why not?
Right. Well, it's funny, you know, sex work has always been a really taboo topic. And I had a much more traditional standpoint on it years ago when I was younger. And over the years, things have changed. And over the past recent years, Donna, my woman of choice for my life partnership,
dancing around.
She'll be a wife at some point, I'm sure. We're not that right now, but she's having my baby, and we're making a baby together, and that's killer, and that's awesome. And my home feels complete between her and my 21-year-old son and my nephew. So things are really wonderful there. And so beneath this like happy family that's like this weird version of hippie tattooed goth, you know, whatever between the both of us, it's a very odd thing. You know, Donna found her niche in the OnlyFans market during COVID when we were drunk in the pool together, and she was fucking emptying the bottle of champagne that she had emptied the bottle of champagne and then started filling it with pool water and pouring it on herself. Started selling people to Venmo Robbie Rapole money. So she's got dudes Venmoing her money. And so she was like, well, fuck it, let's do the OnlyFans thing. So she's made somewhere around $6,000 or so over the span of like a year or two, just like sparsely putting up content that we both felt comfortable with her releasing. And she was like super stoked because she never had to show her privates, and like she would make a bunch of money. So like she never showed like actual business pieces or nipples, and it was hilarious. And it was like I had to break through stigmas and shit, right? Because like
Yeah.
I didn't want to share her with other people, and then like, but that there's a sense of like love and honor and respect that comes with that when she's like, look, you're the guy taking the pictures with me, like you're the guy that I'm coming to and saying, hey, do you feel comfortable with this? And so it was actually an odd growing moment in our relationship. And years before this, I listened to a podcast about sex work with a dude I look up to and respect. And his concept was, the fucking people, man. And then when you really look at it, Google sex is bigger than Jesus, dude. You know what I'm saying? So like ain't none bigger than sex in the Google search. So why would we demonize it? And why don't we have people that fucking advocate for it and help it? So like, I love what you're doing. I think it's cool. I want to fucking introduce you to my friend Margie. She's like 70 something, and she started a whorehouse back in the day that was meant to be an upscale whorehouse, right? Ended up, she started going to so many like spiritual workshops that she started bringing the girls that worked for her to do that. And then they started really just giving hand jobs and emotional advice. And like they turned into this like sexual healing center for the people that come and the people that work there. Like,
oh my God,
yeah.
That's hilarious.
So like, it's just so wild, like how diverse and how wide the sex world is. How, like, we really shouldn't have these stigmas attached to it. So sorry, that was like a huge side rant. But like, that's kind of what came up just hearing you talk about that. And I'm very proud that I get to sit here with you and, help you advocate for, humans in the world, people that don't look like they would do something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean in that, with all love and respect. But people do like look at you a certain way. Like people don't really look at us like we'd be great dads, like unless they're open and they can see through things. So yeah, it's very cool. I like seeing what you're doing. So have you done any other comics, or do you have any other plans? Do you speak? Do you life coach? What other things do you do to help the world be a better place? Because I know you don't just stop there, right?
No way.
Absolutely. No. Cool.
I mean, I guess I've been thinking about future comics and like future autobiography. But for now I'm like thinking about making comics with like inspirational people. So far, I haven't come up with any really huge narratives, like, thanks for listening, but I have recently illustrated this Women's History Month poster for the Chicago Public Library of Madam C.J. Walker. She, I don't know if you know who she is, but she was the very first female millionairess. And she also happened to be a Black woman. So she started up her business in Indianapolis, was selling hair products for women, something that she made by herself, and patented it, just became huge and offered job opportunities to both women and people of color, which was just really sparse at the time. And she also started this huge like shopping center of like pharmacies and essentials and stuff like that, and even entertainment, like a theater, because it was just segregated to people of color at the time. They just really didn't have the right resources or like places for fun at the time. She did that for everybody in the community. So I think that being so close to home to Chicago was just really important to share a story like hers. So I illustrated that. And I'm also working right now on a comic about a killer waitress in a cafe which isn't as like self-helpy and beautiful, but I think it's kind of fun. So yeah.
I mean, having fun's important too.
Yeah, make the art, make the art that your heart needs to make. That's
Yeah.
what an art mentor told me in the past. And the more time goes on, the more I realize that rings true. You know, so yeah, I love that. You know, having fun with it too, you know. It's fucking killer.
I mean, you have some pretty awesome paintings on your website too.
Thank you. Yeah. I've actually been thinking about getting into NFTs as well, because I have a couple of friends who are into them. And before I had like a lot of like negative thoughts about it, like you can hear lots of things like it's like scammy or
Right.
or like it's just used to exploit artists. But I have a really close friend who's been quite successful in it. So I think I'm gonna try and dip my toes into the water.
Well, you know, scared money don't make money.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of people are going to have things to say against ventures that they're not getting into. You know, I believe.
As I'm showing him some of your paintings that you
Wow.
have on your site.
Oh yeah, you are fucking disgustingly talented. That's amazing, dude. I like the dead fish on the cake for Valentine's Day. That's sick.
Belly button.
Yo, dude, your art is nuts.
Thank you.
Damn. Holy shit. So yeah, you know, this is a message that I feel like is being downloaded through me right now for everyone to hear. People are going to tell you don't do it. People are going to be telling you, you know, that this and that, that's a bad idea. But man, what's it going to cost you? Some art, some time, some investment. And when you if you don't win, then you learn. And if you win, then you win and you get a bonus, you know, like, so way I look at it, you know, if you're not winning, you're learning. So you're going to be fine either way. But yeah, fuck around and do the NFT thing, dude. I've made a buttload of cash in fucking crypto lately, and I've had a bunch of people telling me not to. You know, I'm getting into real estate investing right now, and people are like, well, what happens if blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, what happens if this, you know, what happens if I just sit on this investment and nothing happens, you know, like I want to do something with it. So yeah, don't be afraid to do it. The market's a scary place, but if you look at, you know, the stock markets, it's always gone up over the years with, you know, ups and downs between, but crypto could be the way of the future or not. But if you get in at the right time, at the beginning, right now, this is a perfect narrative for go for it. You know what I'm saying? You're fucking 23 years old. What do you got to lose, you know, except for some time? And maybe you make some sick art that you can turn into canvases or fucking sell later on and make money off of any fucking way. You know what I'm saying? So like, at the end of the day, dude, I say go for it, you know, like, we can look for fucking solutions or we can look for problems. And if you continue to look for solutions and silver linings and, you know, the tentacles that come off of the initial idea, sometimes your idea that starts really fucking takes one tentacle over there in the far left, and boom, that's your idea, and that's your moneymaker, or that's your fucking heart settler, or that's, you know, a beautiful gift that makes someone you love cry and feel loved. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like it's so cool to just do the things, you know, because the action usually comes from the doing, which is what we talk about all the time. This motherfucker, like, he quietly pushed me to continue to do these videos just by like always offering his time to film me and like help me put it out. And I was so scared of it, but like now I'm doing some really cool stuff between what we're doing here and then what we're doing with tattoo education now, and just giving me a platform to use my voice to help other people get through shit. You know, using my amputation as a way to inspire people, using my story the way that you have, you know. So once again, like I say, it's admirable that someone at your age realized their story was so beneficial to others, because it's so hard to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, people need what I got. You know, like, people really need what I got, and people need what you got. So that's super cool. So yeah, how did we get into the comic book store? I think we side shot and didn't really go there.
Whoa. Yeah, that's the fate of the universe for you.
So, all right, how did you end up with your artwork in the comic book store? How did you ask, like, how did you get that there?
Oh, right, you asked that question.
A while ago.
Oh man,
Yeah, we
no,
kind of zoned out and time traveled away.
We tend to do that.
Well, okay, so I was like, okay, I already shared it with an intimate group of people who kind of know who I am, right? I was like, this is far more uncomfortable than just sharing it with strangers, right?
Right.
So I was like, well, I already did all this really hard work and I put so much thought into it. And I've already gotten some good feedback from like my classmates, and some people really feel touched by it. Why not share it with the rest of the entire world, right? What can happen? I don't know. And then again, I also really just, I was speaking with my inner child and I wanted to help her. I wish I could give her this book to show her that everything's going to be okay, and that, well, we're only human, but just giving that gift to somebody else who might really need it. I needed to do that. It was imperative I did that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
touching on so many things that resonate, like the inner child stuff.
Mhm.
Wow. Like
Yeah.
I just learned how to start getting in touch with my inner child, like at a workshop I went to fucking a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And the dude that was facilitating, he was like, all right, so tomorrow we're gonna dress like 4-year-olds. And like I learned how to talk to my inner 4-year-old. So I came through in some flamingo fucking board shorts and a fucking Gryffindor shirt and my fucking Gryffindor cloak, fucking having a blast with it. And it was just weird because like I had a time before. So when I woke up and I was talking to him, I was like, yo, so what do you need, dude? Like how would you dress? And like, what do you want? Like, let me get to know you a little bit.
Mhm.
And we had a good cry because I found out that we don't play enough anymore. And like, that was wild that in one evening at the beginning of this workshop, I was taught how to talk to my inner child. And all it was me asking my inner child questions and waiting for answers, patiently and openly waiting for answers. And like, it's so weird how something so profound that I've been looking for so long showed up like that, you know? And it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears type shit is what it seems. So the inner child stuff is so cool that you're learning this at an early age, you know? Because like I said, you're only 2 years older than my son. So, you know, watching you like be this profound with what your understanding of life is and how to navigate it is brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
serious.
I guess like I had to be really furious and angry at first, right? Because it's really confusing to think like, okay, so all this stuff that was really mean about me, like I'm worthless or something, like all those negative thoughts, they're not real. So then why did I believe that? Like I was curious, but first I was angry and I wanted to learn. So I picked up books on self-help. My favorite book, which I recommend for everybody, is called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Now, obviously, not everybody has had the same childhood as me or has had a traumatic childhood. I don't know who's that lucky, but most of us happen to.
Yeah.
So I believe it's by.
Sorry, that just caught up to me. Like,
I think
we're all
honestly,
there, dude.
yeah. Like I forgot who the author is. Maybe Ashley Gibson. Let me find out because I'm not trying to give you incorrect information.
It's adult children of emotionally immature parents, how to heal from distant, rejecting, or self-involved parents. Book by
Yes,
Lindsay C. Gibson.
that's right. Yeah.
Party, cool. Yeah, I just used my pocket computer.
Mhm. Well, thank you.
But dude, that's brilliant. So yeah, go on.
Yeah. So I started reading that book and it opened up a lot for me. Not only about like my own past, and it opened a lot about who my parents are and maybe what kind of past that they had. It made me grow a fuck ton of compassion for who they are and how they became the people that they are. So after reading that book, like I was ready to be like, why the hell did they do this to me and blah, 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 or why are my sisters such assholes? Instead, it just taught me so much about like them and how we interact. And then I set all these boundaries, and now we just get along so fucking well because I learned who they are and I learned how to interact with them. And we understand each other better now. It's amazing what a little bit of research and wanting to change can do for somebody. Yeah, maybe it takes curiosity first and knowing that you deserve better. I had to find that out in a really weird and hard way by meditating in my house. And I was like, I'm not getting anxious thoughts anymore. How? It sparks a lot of curiosity to witness something like that.
I hope to get there at one point, but I ain't never going to be free of anxiety thoughts.
You know, I've
patience.
What's
Lots
that?
of patience. Oh, sorry. It does take a lot of patience. Like I wasn't patient with myself. I was just super anxious in my apartment. Like I need to quiet down somehow. And I guess like meditating was the way that I found that. I got really lucky. I use Headspace, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, Headspace is cool. I like to do guided meditations on YouTube. And it's weird because lately I've been picking really popular ones, so then the ads pop up. So then that's a really cool way of like,
I'm gonna add you to my premium so you don't get ads anymore.
I need to just do the premium. Well, like I've been using it as a way to like not like get frustrated at the roadblock, you know, the speed bump. Like, oh no, it's cool, man. This is just Russ Rufino telling me how to fucking get so many people in my channel. Like, God bless it. I've heard this guy fucking talk so many times. But like, it's just cool to play it out. And then going into my negative relationship with money that I've always had, why can't I afford $14.99 a month for a YouTube Red account? I can, but for some reason I don't fucking do it.
I hate spending any kind of money.
Dude, it's so weird, like just the things that we picked up from that childhood, like, and that's why I commend you once again so much for being at the early age and like learning how to like untangle this, because the older you get, the more tangled it gets and the more work it takes to untangle it. And it never goes away. You're never perfect, right? But it's really cool to see that our youth is actually doing stuff that is going to make our fucking world better. Yeah. You know, and that's kind of cool, and that lends into putting your focus into things. Like what you put your focus on is, if you want to change the world, then you're going to change the world. If you want to tear the world down, you're going to tear the world down. So it's cool that you know, energy just kind of brings us all together. The universe brings us all together, force or whatever source.
And I have a random thought too. When you brought up like the living with unpredictable parents, it reminded me of something that I've seen recently pop up on social media, of like people saying, people who are empaths because they live with an unpredictable adult growing up, and they had to change and adapt and predict what that person is going to be like. So throughout your whole life, you've lived with that unpredictable adult, and you've adapted to reading the room. Like you'll latch onto whoever you think is more unpredictable, latch onto them and pick up on their energy and put off what they're putting off.
You know, aha moments. Dude, that was weird. I just like, my mind's eye just saw all these memories and like past experiences like being woven together by this like fucking like angular little fucking puzzle of energy, just fucking this electric bolt flying through and connecting. And the thing is too, they didn't know better. Like if they knew better, they do better, right? And that's that whole compassion thing. And compassion has been coming up ever since we had Ethan on. That's really when compassion hit me, self-compassion. He was like, dude, you sound like an angry guy. Try some self-compassion. And then like, I've been trying to do that. And then as that opens up, at the workshop I went to, compassion was a big thing that we went through. So it's like compassion just keeps like hitting me in the face, and then like little essences here and there, the kind reminder is compassion. So it's really cool to find that compassion, because that's usually what holds me back, is my inability to have compassion. You know, be so self-centered and focused on me that I can't care about your shit because I'm here with me.
Yeah. And that's where like that inner child stuff comes from, because it's like, if you really think about it, I mean, how else could you have learned all those negative ways to think about yourself? It was learned at childhood, you know? And when we're using self-compassion and thinking about our inner child, it's not like you're totally separating from yourself. What you're doing is realizing that this really negative thinking was given to you, and that's what you learned. But you can learn compassion. You can learn how to love yourself. Treat yourself the way that you would have treated a child. I mean, would you tell them like really mean things? Would you tell them the things that you're telling yourself when you're really like giving yourself a hard time, beating yourself up over something? Would you tell that to a kid?
Right.
And that's what that was told to you as a kid when you were little, and that's why you think the way you do if you're negatively. Oh my God, sorry, I'm getting like really caught up here.
No,
It's what we do.
Make sense?
dude, are you kidding me? This totally makes sense. Don't back out
okay.
of this. Yeah. No, step
Yeah.
into that one. You're a powerful speaker, dude, and your message comes across. So yeah, yes, all of that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and as you're talking, I'm like looking at different relationships and instances with, you know, my older brothers, my mom. I haven't even really gone to my dad yet in these moments while you guys are talking. But like I'm going to these moments of like, oh yeah, that was when I challenged that person's security in themselves. And that was when I challenged that person's way of thinking. And that was when I fucking, you know, so it's really interesting to realize that these things that we hold ourselves back with are really just things that we kind of saw or were taught by people that were hurt people hurting people, you know. But the coolest side of hurt people is healed people heal people, and healing people heal people. So like you can be hurt and damage others, or you can be healing and just contribute to the healing thing. And it's funny that you spoke on changing the world, and that one woman that you said, the first millionaires. Years ago, I had this crazy idea that I wanted to create this corner of the world for people like me, you know, and I put that thought away for a while because I was afraid to get judged about it. And then one day, out of nowhere, I put "Let's change the world" as my subtitle on Instagram. And, you know, now people that are wanting to change the world are just popping up.
Wow.
So, and it's cool because like the littlest manifestations you can do, you know, sometimes when you put them away and forget about them, that's when they're doing all the hard work. And then they pop back out and say, okay, I'm ready now. And like, you know, so it's really cool. And then you speak of someone that was a Black woman doing the first things of all the hardest first things. And like, why can't I do some things like that? You know, why can't we do things like that? Why can't we change the world? Because we were taught that you can't do those things. We were taught that you can't go to the moon unless you were an astronaut. Well, how the fuck do you become an astronaut if nobody believes in you? So,
I know, yeah. I was like, okay, so it's Women's History Month. I can go down like the traditional route of just like doing somebody who's totally extravagant and amazing, or I can make artwork about someone who's more relatable for like the masses, right? So she started from the bottom, which is where a lot of people can relate to, and somehow she made it to the top and just decided to share all of that wonderful wealth with everybody else and didn't want to stop at it. Her daughter, who I also illustrated in this same poster, picked up after her mom too. So she made this place called the Dark Tower. It was like this building for all these artists to come together and share their ideas and share music and all these wonderful things. And, you know, like artists don't really have like a strong platform all the time. She did that too. Kind of amazing, right? The thing that really got them was the Depression in the 1920s. But their legacy still lives on today in small ways, which I think is cool.
dude, that's wild. So that was the 20s when that happened? Holy shit.
Yep.
Damn. Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
I love that you chose that story. I love that you're connected to that story. And that's a Chicago like based situation, you said?
Indianapolis, which is
Okay.
super close,
Yeah.
but some of her products extended out to here in Chicago. Some of her products still exist today. I don't know exactly which ones,
Oh, fuck yeah.
but yeah, I think that regardless, her story is something that should be shared. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
colored that.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Amazing. That fish. I want you to share that fish right there. Because that painting is phenomenal, dude. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Dude, so give me the inspiration behind that because I think I kind of know, but I'd love to hear like if
You
you're
know
able
what?
to
I
share.
want to hear your untouched virgin response to it. Tell
Okay.
me.
So to me that looks like a very regular response to Valentine's Day, where you make these plans and everything's supposed to be beautiful and you have this pretty amazing frosted cake and then all of a sudden the day turns out to be a dead fish.
Oh my God, yeah. but actually, I was like, it was like actually like maybe a couple of steps before that even happens. I was in high school and I didn't believe in love, right? I was still depressed at the time. I was like, I'm gonna take this cake, I'm gonna buy it. I bought it from Jules, and then I went down the train to Argyle and bought this fish from the Asian market, put the fish on the cake in my dining table, and then painted it for 2 weeks, just like live right there on my kitchen table. And my parents would pass by like, all right. And it was just me doing art.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, it was just my response, like, Valentine's Day is fake, love isn't real, it should be soiled. The whole thing is a mess. Yeah.
Yeah,
So dead
yeah.
fish.
You illustrated that thought process very well. But like that's really cool and really brilliant once again, just because like you had this really brilliant thought and just kind of brought it together as like a middle finger to
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like because societal norms are kind of annoying, between Valentine's Day and Christmas and this holiday and that holiday. And it's like, man, can we just like actually just celebrate each other instead of like these consumer driven holidays that are, meant to spike sales for fucking companies? It's like, and without trying to get too, tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I know that's a big discussion too. Even at the time, I was thinking about it that way because I was like, why do they just keep flaunting this thing that doesn't exist? Why, like, it felt all so fake,
Right.
What was real for me was like a cold dead animal that looked gross on the facade that they've been giving us. That was real to me.
Dude, I'm finding my way out of that with marriage, being divorced twice, having some less than enjoyable experiences throughout the pieces. I'm finding that there is another side of that coin, and that's love. And like that's real love, like true unconditional love, like giving love, receiving love, being open to receive. That's a big one I've noticed, that obviously being the guy that's been burned, in relationships and feels terrible about it, like, okay, I'm going to have a hard time receiving. But like, are you gonna sit there and fucking be the rain cloud on life? Or are you gonna fucking have sunshine after the rain clouds passed and accept the new love in and, have compassion for the old poor times that didn't turn out so good? So just interesting thinking about love in the fashion that it is a tool, a valuable tool to live a quality life, to build a positive community. Humans are meant to be together, and if we're going to be in community, we need to have love as a binding agent for that community. So it's a really interesting line to walk between shitting on the corporate view of, media holidays and love, and actually accepting love for what it is, because like marriage is a beautiful institution, or it's a real shit show. You know, I've lived on both sides of that fucking coin. So it's interesting to literally feel like a disconnect from the icky parts of it and just find the love at the center of it. So yeah, that was that.
Yeah.
I tell you every time I can, I'm ordained. I can do that for you.
It's going to be a thing, you know, having a child with someone I feel is a larger commitment than, you know, being married.
Paper.
You know, like, to be quite honest, that just fucking means financially we have to separate if we ever end it, you know, and then we have to split time with the kid, you know, but I mean, really at the end of the day, like, I'm making a commitment that you are going to be in my life, I'm going to be in your life, you know, good, bad, or in between. You know, my first son's mom, she went through it like a rough patch most of his life where she wasn't around, and now she's in his life in a great way, and they have a wonderful relationship. So like, you really do make a lifelong bond with that person. So regardless of what happens there, yeah, marriage is a cool thing. I like it. It's just scary. You know, love is a cool thing. It's just scary, right? When you were that jaded kid, you probably really wanted love, but you were mad scared about it because you'd been burned by love, or you hadn't had the love you wanted. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, that shit is just not real. Like, if somebody is displaying love to me, I'm like, it must be fake. Something's wrong. Something's to be suspected of this, because anytime I've ever like witnessed some form of it, it's just trickery, because I didn't believe in it for myself. You know, it took a lot of like curiosity and research to really find out what love was, and then just start working on learning it over again, because my childhood didn't do it for me. Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, lots of learning. But you really have to want it for yourself.
That's true.
Which sometimes means being angry about it.
It usually means being angry about it.
Yeah, and you can be angry and just sulk and accept like not loving, right? Because I also like talked about that period in my life where I was just working multiple jobs, and it's like every single person that I've ever helped or smiled at or whatever, like I hate them all, because it just felt so fake, so surface level. But also I was really stressed out. It felt like it wasn't really leading to anything. Work can do that. Yeah.
So
working for minimum wage in particular, absolutely.
See, it's weird. I've often heard most of my life that I'm lucky that, you know, I've not had to work retail. I've been a tattooer since I started my informal apprenticeship at 12 years old, because my dad did tattoos. So I never had to get a real job. Like I pursued tattooing, and by the time I was 16, I was a professional tattooer. So like, you know, I don't know what it's like to bang your head against the wall because you can't tell somebody to go fuck off. Like,
yeah.
It's like, the customer ain't right in this bitch. We agree, or you get the fuck out. You know? And you know,
you can't do that.
No, you can't. Like, and now my business practices have changed where, you know, more customer service and soft and loving and giving. Because service, that's another thing that I'm learning. Service is a thing that I'm meant to do, and like I'm meant to serve and give my love, and in that is holding fucking space, which just means fucking being patient with yourself and others during shit, which is a weird thing that I'm learning about myself. But as the start of this rant was meant to bring up the book The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. He actually wrote The Four Agreements. I don't know if you've read that one, but that one's fucking killer. And the Four Agreements are very simple. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personal. Always, right. Always do your best. And there's one more that I always forget, which I'll find.
Always remember this one.
But the cool thing is, I have them on my phone at all times to pull up. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. They're both great. Well, actually, I haven't read The Mastery of Love yet. I just heard about it the other day. at a follow-up meeting for the workshop that I just attended. So I'm definitely going to dive into that one because it hit me at the right time. It resonated. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up that book since love is a major topic. At part of the workshop, they made us do a monologue. Well, I don't really write. I go off the top of my head. So I got up there, and the whole time I was planning to do something else. And then Love is the Answer came out as the title. And then like I went through this, and Love is the Answer has been popping up everywhere for all the people from that workshop. But it was really cool to like speak on that and be able to like put out love is the answer. It just keeps popping up so much in my life. So it's cool to just see it again. So yeah, sorry, I keep ranting and sidestepping. But yeah, love really is the answer. And in the Tattoo Guardians podcast that I listen to a lot, they say, you know, love is the answer, and I don't even remember what the question is, or I don't even know what the question is. And like that's how I ended my monologue. And it was just like, but it's true, you know, like you got a problem, put some love on it and wait it out. You got a fucking issue, put some love on it, wait it out. You know, like you're angry, put some love on it, wait it out. You're still angry, put some more love on it. Like you've got an overflowing fucking fountain of love inside of you, and we choose to not cater to it, or some people don't even know that we have it, or we have permission to access it. And that's something that you accessed and learned early on through your life experiences and therapies. So like I can't stop commending you. I love when you bring on people that I'm just like so impressed with and have no idea like how I didn't meet this person sooner. So like this is great. I love this shit, man. And like I'm in this weird part with all of this where I'm like learning to have fun with it, and like learning to do what feels right.
Yeah, I love that. I'm like I'm so ecstatic about your response to it. I'm sort of like in a dazed moment of like, yeah, hell yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say even. I'm just like, I'm sitting here like, I feel that way. Yeah, you know what? I'm only 23, so I feel like it's quite soon enough. I'm young.
Yeah.
And now I remember what I was gonna say. You were talking about like, you know, people don't know that they have this reservoir of love inside of them, and I can relate to that so well because, you know, when I was young and feeling quite depressed, it's like I don't have like love. And like even recently, just a few months ago, I'm like talking to my therapist, and I'm like, I don't think that, or I fear my ability to be a friend because I'm not so good at making friends. Like I'm still kind of socially like anxious in talking to people. And part of that was like this fear that I'm afraid I don't have anything good to offer. Like I was truly afraid that I am not a person who can love or who can give genuine love like to people or show that I care. Like I just thought it was in my place. Turns out we all have that, and it's good to practice it because in our own small ways, small steps, but I think I do have it, and it's cool to learn that shit because then you realize how wonderful of a person you are once you start doing it. It's really nice to make people happy. It's a great feeling.
It really is. Well, so you hit a couple of things for me on that. So when you need to learn something the most, that's usually when you're driven to teach it the most. So that's one thing. Another thing is, you know, a giant looks in the mirror and doesn't see anything but that person, that reflection, doesn't see a giant. It's the others that see the giant. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, when you're doing something great, and that's an old adage, when people doing great things often don't realize they are. And that's all lying into the imposter syndrome that goes into not believing in yourself. And often what you're most afraid of not being able to give or receive are the gifts that you have the most of. You're in that imposter syndrome about delivering it. You know, Chad's an integral part of this whole thing because he used to help me make videos and push me and push me and push me. And I would hide the videos, and he'd be like, why aren't you posting them? And like, I'd avoid him for a while. I'm like, that's not me, dude. You know, I want to talk about shit, but like, I would just be like, you know, and like we've talked about this a number of times, and like he pushed me to keep doing this and continues to help, you know, push me along with this. But that's part of my gift, what I'm speaking, what he's helping me deliver. His gift is also part of doing this. Like we've all got these gifts and we're all here at this specific time on purpose. It may not be our idea of what's on purpose, but it's on purpose and it's here for a purpose, you know, and we get to be that driving force behind, you know, each of our individual demographics. You know what I'm saying? Because we all bring a different specific audience to the table, and then the tentacles of those audiences, and then we can just help change the fucking world, you know?
Yeah. I can't believe I caught, or you guys caught me saying I can't change the world. Like secretly, I want to. Secretly, I really hope I do. Because again, I hope that I can reach every child out there that went through the same shit that I did. It's such a lonely experience. I would hate for anybody else to feel that. Not even like my greatest enemy, you know? It's so tough. I want to change the world in that way, for sure.
So I think you only say secretly because you're afraid to scream that you really want to change the world.
Yeah, I do.
Kind of like myself.
Fucking change the world.
Yeah, totally, dude. I want to fucking change the world. And like, you know, even in my concept earlier of subtitling, you know, I subtitled "Let's Change the World" when that could be my main title, you know, like, because the world does need change, you know, and we can be the ones to facilitate it. You know, I had a friend, she owned a tattoo shop in Miami, and she helped change laws for human trafficking in South Florida. And she was like, I did this. I didn't realize I was smart enough to do this. I thought I was just a dumb little Latina that couldn't do this. And, you know, I am one of the people that can make a change. And that inspired the fuck out of me, man. And, you know, and all these big people in these little instances, just one little conversation along the way, you know, help build on that. So yes, you do want to change the fucking world. You can change the world, and you've already fucking begun to change the world. The sooner you step into that shit, the better the whole fucking world is going to be. And, you know, I speak to everyone out here, but the funny thing is I can speak to me while I'm doing it, because at the end of the day, I've got to fucking believe in myself, you know, and belief. You talked about your teachers believing in you. Chad believed in me and helped push me along. Your teachers believed in you, helped push you along. There's a dude named Bill Barron. He's a business coach, but like spiritual, you know, more, he's about money and stuff, but you know, it's about like making the emotional bank account better, not just the financial bank account. And one of the things he said is, I have a million billion times unshakable belief in my clients, and that's why they make it. And then once they're done with my belief, when they believe in themselves enough, they can just stop using my belief. But that belief I have in them, really, I believe helps them along. And, you know, I see that with the tattoo apprentices, the ones that have it and want it. I believe in them enough, and I'm just there to keep, you know, giving them that last little bump to make that last rep. You know what I'm saying? So that belief is a huge thing. And then that fake it till you make it thing, when you believe in yourself long enough, you actually do believe in yourself at some point.
It's true.
Yeah, because fake it till you make it is really just practice or exercise, you know, like, and so it's really cool. I love that you jumped on meditation too early on, because meditation is a practice. You know, we're not good at it, so we practice it.
I
You know?
have my own way of doing it.
Yeah, how do you meditate with the spinny thoughts and, you know, all the things that get in the way of a calm mind?
I more so visualize, like I sit in a room and I visualize myself entering my head and cutting out the ties that are tying me up, like cutting up my anxieties, and then I connect myself to the ground, to the earth, throw it into like a furnace and let it go down to the earth, and then open a little. This is all visualizing. Visualize like a window opening in my head and letting it all light in, and closing it, and then backing out of my head.
Okay, so now we need to do side note, we need to do 2 different meditations, that a way that I meditate and a way that you meditate, and put those out on the YouTube because that was fucking brilliant. Just feeling you talk about it, like it was like I was reading a book, like fucking fully in that. Like you portrayed your visualization into me. So I feel like we definitely need to do some guided meditations and put those out because the world fucking needs it. I'm tired of I'm tired of being afraid of changing the world, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just went to that healing workshop, and I asked the dude that throws it, Scott, and I was like, hey man, you know, do you do one-on-one type stuff? And when we met up again, he was like, I do one-on-one therapy. I'm into that, but like not for you. I want to do a mentorship with you. You know, I feel like we could work through some shit, but you can help some other people because I heard you say that. And I'm like, damn. So like every time I put myself out there to do something great in the healing space, I get a mega hug from the fucking universe about it. So it's like, all right, cool. Now I get to continue working and healing. And like I'm throwing my own healing seminar April 2nd. That's like cool and scary. I just had a dream last night that I showed up to this space and I don't understand dreams a whole lot, but I showed up to a space that I've been to in my dreams a lot, that I'm fond of the space, but I never really feel welcome, even though I want to at this space, right? So I end up there with Scott from the workshop and his wife, and then a couple of other faceless people. And what ends up happening is people keep talking through me, fucking trying to guide them and ignoring what I'm saying. And then like this family just busts in the door, and apparently like it's their house, and like kind of there, and like we have to like deal with them. So that's what's going on in my head about throwing my healing workshops, which means I have to fucking hit the ground running face forward and do it. But it's weird how your brain can sabotage you when it's time to do things.
Actually, I have tons of anxious dreams too, and it's usually like they can be absolutely horrifying nightmares, okay? But they happen to me when I'm feeling most anxious about something. So, like if I'm feeling really anxious about like a job interview or something, I'm gonna imagine like me getting into a car crash. Or like what I'm hearing from your dream is that you're just feeling so anxious about starting this new thing. You're wondering how it'll go, how you're gonna impact people. And you're like, I don't know if I can do it. And your anxieties were visualized in a very literal sense, where people just were barging in over you, talking over you. And that's just like a projection of your anxieties. So it's not like it's actually going to happen. That's just your fears about it. And that's what your brain is telling you.
Dude, I'm telling you, right? Like, fuck.
No, it's just because like
brilliant.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize for being brilliant, dude. No, seriously, step into that shit.
You're welcome.
Or something.
Yeah. No, but seriously, it's just because like I've been having like these really strange dreams, like surfacing and visualizing my anxieties. And it's so crazy how the subconscious can really give you a clearer picture of what you've been feeling. What I do to help understand it better is write it down and journal. Actually, even journaling, like just regular day shit all the time, if you're feeling anxious, it really helps map out where you're feeling anxious. And that way you can address the issues formally. And it really helps to have them in physical matter, because then you're like, oh, that's what's going on. Right. Sometimes you really have to see it to understand it.
So it's funny you say that about journaling, because Valentine's Day I had to go to a prosthetic appointment for my leg. Yeah. And so on the way back home, there's this mineral shop, Mystic Minerals it's called. I've always wanted to go there, never got a chance to. Donna wasn't with me. And like she's been like really like over giving, like in gifts on all holidays for most of our relationship. So now I was like, ooh, I want to fucking outgive her. So I stopped at this place and I got a big giant fucking amethyst for her. But like in there, I was looking around and dicking off, and there was this journal by an author that I had read one of her books and learned a lot from. I think it was Brene Brown. And you're familiar with her, obviously?
We lost your sound.
Keep talking. Keep talking. I want to hear.
Okay, so I got this journal, and it's like the super powered super attractor journal or something like that, and it's cute and it's silly and it's pink and it's purple and it's got foil fucking decorations, and it's just like really like my personality, or the light side of it. So I woke up the other day from one of these guided meditations, and it was the ask, believe, receive method that they were going over in this meditation. And I rolled over, opened that bitch up, wrote them 3 down, and then just closed it up and just like let it alone. But like I never do that, and I'm so glad I did, because like now I'm like, oh cool, that's great. And I've been like getting into writing in that journal, and you see like I took this weird breath talking about it, because like I'm tense about the things I'm writing in my journal. Like one of the things I wrote in the journal was I just raised my tattoo rates to a super luxury premium rate of 10K a day, and that's scary as fuck for me. And I'm like looking for like the Bentley and Lamborghini clients, the guys that can like the humans that can afford that, and like giving them that experience. And that's what I'm going for. And I wrote that in this journal, in the Superpower Attractor journal, right? So like as I think about what I've written in this, and I don't write it every day, but the things I've written are pretty profound. And like this is since Valentine's Day, so it's not been super long. So it's just weird seeing like, okay, what happens when this shit comes true? And when the fuck did I start talking like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if was like everything was if. But now I'm like, dude, you're 41 fucking years old. You've lost your leg. You're still kicking ass. And now you have finally realized that you can do all the things you wanted to do. I've done every fucking thing except for like be on a tattoo magazine cover and fucking take home a truckload of fucking awards at a convention. And I don't even care about those anymore, because that was like smaller goals than the things I want to do now with my life. So it's just interesting to be like, yo, what happens when, bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, challenge me. Let's do this. I've made it through all these things, like 2 divorces, lost a leg, fucking been on TV, been through so many fucking news outlets. I feel fucking comfortable in front of a camera. I don't even hate my voice on record anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I've heard my own fucking shit. So like, I can't think of how I could have stepped into this, because I've wanted to for so long, and now I finally get to it. Because of all the shit I've gone through. But like, when you lose your leg, when you start wakeboarding better with one leg than you did with 2 legs, when you could fucking leg press 1,000 pounds with one leg, like it's like, okay, where's my limits at? Because I don't really feel like there should be any. Because like, Donna, my partner, she tells me like, you're so determined, like it's weird. I don't see this in a lot of people. Like you get like dummy obsessed, crazy, like don't stop until you get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, that's not everybody. She's like, nah, bro, like that ain't it. Like
that's true. Are you an Aries?
No, I'm a Scorpio.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
That Scorpio passion comes out hard in the things I'm passionate about. So, like I'm ready to take on the fucking world. And like, now it just so happens I went to this Tony Robbins conference in November for my birthday. That was what I bought myself. That was a challenge just to attend that. The long hours, the super cold, the staying awake, all that shit. Like I was like, this is a terrible birthday. Why did I do this to myself? But like it opened this thing in my brain to like allowing and attracting more of that. So, then I went on this trip to Ohio to go meet one of my mentors and hang out with him. And then he's like, oh, let's go meet one of my mentors and hang out with him. So we did that. And that was a healing workshop that I went to that was like the Tony Robbins thing, except for like catered to 5 people in a small audience right here, a one-on-one, let's fix each other. So I was like, boom, I love this. This is cooler than the Tony Robbins thing. So then I went to that healing workshop locally, which happened 2 weeks after the other workshop. And that was a 3-day event. And that was like transformative, bro. This guy fucking put a teddy bear with a fucking sneaker wrapped up in a blanket in my arms in the dark and fucking gave me empowering words to say to my leg to like love it, empower it, take my power back, empower myself, and say goodbye to it and make peace with it. This is all the while there's a woman on her knees in front of a person under a black blanket saying goodbye to her dead son. So this is the type of fucking healing work like that I've been like opened up to being able to do. And it's like it's been opening me up to like healing, opening me up to receiving. You know, the 10K a day thing, that's a part of my receiving. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 41, I'm having a baby, I don't have time anymore. So I can't give my time away and work my dick off. And you know, my 21-year-old son is here with me. I want to be able to be with my 21-year-old son, Donna, the new baby, and have like a family thing. Like you guys are always in fucking Disney and Universal and shit. I want to do that with my family. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to fucking live. So like allowing myself to receive is one of the coolest things that I've learned. And one of the wacky things is we all had to stare each other in the eyes and we like went down this line. And like I went down this line, there was like almost 20 different times you had to stop and stare in somebody's eyes. I cried like hard, like I fought it, bawled my face off and then kind of like smiled and like loved somebody. But like we had our hands on each other's hearts and then other hand on that hand. So it was a lot of like energy exchange. And like towards the end, when I got towards my new mentor, I cried my dick off and then I laughed my dick off. And then I stopped crying.
Yeah.
Because I learned how to let love in without that fear in front of it. Instead of fucking digging my heels and I just like let love go and jumped off the cliff and you know the clouds are there to catch me. And love was the answer in that. So it's cool to keep finding how much love is there for us.
That is crazy. You got like the exposure therapy.
Yeah. What's up?
No, I was just like, I didn't know that there was exposure therapy to love. Like that's a new for me. I didn't know that.
Okay, so if you're interested and you want to participate in this workshop, it's amazing. It's called the Way Through Experience. And they are in my hometown locally, luckily. If you ever make it down here for one of their events, that'd be super rad. I'd love to come and like be an assistant and sit in the dark, as they say, while you go in. It's a wild experience, but it's a beautiful experience. But yeah, we can connect on that later too. But yeah, anybody that's watching, they're doing another one April 8th, 9th, and 10th in Melbourne, Florida. So the Way Through Experience, Scott, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Donat, D-O-N-A-T. And find that on Facebook or message me about it. And then also, if you're interested in mine in Melbourne, message me about that. Like I said, it's going to be similar to that type of inner healing stuff. This is hard to like step into being a healer. Like, but now I found my group of weirdos that like hug and shit and like get it and like, you know, stare each other in the eye and like cry together and shit. And it's like, you know, I know I help facilitate that with the people around me, but it's nice to be facilitated in that, you know, and like learn how to help myself and others, you know, along this fucking journey, you know.
Wow. No, I'm just like kind of having a moment here because you said it's on April 8th, 9th, and 10th, right?
Yeah.
I've literally scheduled those days off because it's the days leading to my birthday. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Like, I just know that I don't want to work. So maybe I'm going to Florida. I don't know.
Dude, holler at me for real. Like, I think it would be great. I think it would be absolutely great. It's funny, last night I was like, who do I get? Because they say like once you do the workshop, replace yourself, find somebody else, because without participants, we can't do workshops. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to stress about it. Somebody will come. They'll be an attracted human. So I think it would be great. Like it's an amazing exposure therapy experience. It's painful at times. I found that I am so afraid of my anger and I'm so afraid of love. Like there was a point where I had to stand in front of a card that said anger and act out anger at the top of my lungs. And I stood in front of it, froze, and started bawling my dick off. And that was like a huge moment of self-discovery. I'm a big dude. I'm scary when I get mad. So like, I'm afraid of what I can do. I feel very much Hulk-like in that sense where like, when you start to see red and then you look back at what you've done, you know, like, Wow. So yeah, it was wild to face my anger, and act it out and see what happens when I act it out in a healthy way where no one's around to get hurt, and the ones that are around aren't meant to get hurt, and they know how to deflect, and they know how to help support you and like guide you through your healing process. It's beautiful, man. It's fucking beautiful.
Wow.
You're gonna leave drained, happy, sad, scared, winning, alone, alive, in love. Like there's so much wacky shit that's a part of it. But yeah, I think it'll be great. So yeah, you're on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have Chad help me reach out to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I'm like trying to think about my Facebook. I forgot the password. I'll end up using it again sometime.
Don't worry.
I get in touch with the
Yeah, Chad will help us communicate.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Good.
But see, and that's like a little like this. That's just a little moment where like manifestation, right? I knew that there was going to be somebody that would take that spot, to fill that space and to heal, and I can help, lead someone to their own healing, and helping people heal is a beautiful thing. And it's just being in that healing environment is healing too. So it's hurt people, healed people, or healing people help heal people, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I think it'll be cool. So yeah, so Chad brought up we're like an hour and 15 minutes, which is we're kind of long. So yeah, I know the time flies when we're doing this. Sometimes it's great.
Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I've been having such a blast. Like it doesn't feel like time is going at all.
The best interviews are like that. I love it when like it just flies and you don't even know how it happened. And like a lot of the time I'll get this feeling like a lightheaded, like kind of tingly face feeling that I kind of have right now.
Yeah.
You got that too?
I did earlier. I was sort of like this and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
When like I talk about passions, my true inner work that's supposed to come out that I'm afraid to come out. That's when it gets really exciting. That's when the tingles come. That's when you start feeling like you're on drugs and you ain't even took nothing.
Give me what you have. I'm over here like, wait, I'm getting chills off of drugs.
Years and years of practice, I guess. But Xena, it was great to fucking meet you. Thank you so much. If you are to attend this seminar, that would be or the workshop, that would be so cool. I'd love to see you there. So we'll reach out together on that. But at this point, do you want to shamelessly plug yourself for the people that are watching? How can they get a hold of your comic and see your art and help support you as an artist and purchase your things and help support your dreams to change the fucking world?
Well, I guess you can find me directly on my website, which is xenalopez.com. And to buy my comic, you can find it there. You can also find it on silversprocket.com, which is like this really cool distributor that's super badass. I'm going to say that because they can really speak for themselves if you visit their website. And I'm also on Instagram with Xena Lopez Art. That's it. That's me.
Cool. I'll find you on Instagram. That's easy. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm an old guy. I use Facebook too, so
Okay. I'm Xena Lopez on Facebook. I just need to find my password.
Yeah, don't even worry about that. Don't go to her Facebook, y'all. And so if you had one thing to tell your former self before writing the comic, the version of yourself that was in the midst of all the turmoil, one thing to tell that person, what would you have said to them to like help them make it through?
Oof, that's a lot.
At the end.
Yeah.
It's like you're only human and you're just learning. So you're gonna have a lot of love for yourself and just wait it out. You have no idea what's.
Of course, we lost the audio.
All right, you have no idea what's coming, and then we lost the rest. No. Dude, there's got to be something like linked emotionally, energetically here to losing the sound at your most profound moments. Like
National.
like the internet world can't handle you at your highest, so like the sound just cuts out.
We're gonna back it up just a little bit. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we really didn't know what was coming, but okay, so you don't know what's coming, but it's gonna be so fucking great, and I'm happy that you're here to witness it. So just keep going. Yeah.
I love that you said you're going to love yourself a lot.
Mhm.
That's really cool to like know. And you're at 23 and you already know that you love yourself, and like that love is only going to compound and grow. So kudos to you, my dear. You're a wonderful human. So thank you all. Chad, do you have anything to add?
I got nothing.
You've been kind of quiet on this one.
I just letting you guys flow.
I dig
Thank
it. I dig it. Yeah,
Well,
man.
thank you for finding my comic, and I'm so sorry that your house burned down that day. I mean,
it's starting to, the drywall's up now. It's looking more like a house than it did.
awesome. I'm so happy to hear, and it was such a blast to be with y'all. Like, I'm so happy that you found my book and that I'm here to talk with you guys tonight.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. It's been wonderful to get to know you. I'm excited to possibly see you in Florida soon.
Well,
But yeah, either way, there is a lot of immersive therapies that can help people out there. So even if that doesn't work, they're out there everywhere. I'm in Melbourne, Florida, and this just so happened to fall into my lap through one of my clients. So you know, open your heart, open that communication with, you know, source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, and allow that in, because you will find the healing you're looking for. And because you're so advanced at such an early age, you're going to continue to find the healing.
yeah.
The funny thing is, there's going to be some gross parts in the middle of the healing. That's the funny thing about healing. It's an ugly word when you really look at what it feels like, but something beautiful at the end. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us, Xena. Thank you for sharing your heart with the world. Thank you for trying to change the world, because you're going to. We're all going to. And all the ones that want to change the world, we're all going to find each other. So here we are. Come find us. And we're looking for you. So we're rad, and so are you. Have a great fucking day. Thank you so much, Xena. Thank you so much, viewers. If you like the vibe, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.